It's
We're
fine.
good.
Like,
Good to go.
it is
Yes.
making it live right now. It's working, I guess. Yeah. Sign in, sign in, sign in. It's buffering. Yeah, done. Yeah, okay, great. So good to start. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Healthy Mind, Healthy Life, where we explore the journeys, challenges, and the breakthroughs of entrepreneurs, creators, and the dreamers. Yes, I'm your host Avik, and today we are diving into the realities of solopreneurship in the digital age. Yes. So, my question is to all of you, like, is building a business online truly the dream life, or is it more demanding than we imagine? Good to think, right? So let me know. I mean, if you are hearing right now, do let me know in the comment section or in the social media or in the DM me as well. So joining me today is Sarah Asley. So welcome to the show, Sarah.
Thank you. So nice to be here.
Lovely, lovely. So, Sarah, like before we start our conversation, I'll quickly love to introduce you to all of our listeners.
Sure.
Dear listeners, Sarah is a multi-passionate content creator, writer, entrepreneur who runs portalcopy.co. Uh, it's a company, yes, a copywriting agency helping the brands tell their stories. And today she is here to share the highs, lows, and the lessons of carving your own path in today's fast moving digital landscapes. So I'll not take much of your time. Without further ado, welcome to the show again, Sarah.
Yeah, thank you. Super nice to be here. And hello to all of your audience listeners out there. Um, yeah, and I think when I
Uh,
first started my business, it
uh-huh.
was really important to have a community. And I didn't have that. I think that's something a lot of people can relate to. Maybe even like you can relate to that as well. Like when you're first getting started, you kind of feel
Yeah.
like you're alone, especially
Yes.
if you have like a predominantly online business, right?
Mm,
So as you are, or as I was in the beginning stages of my business some years ago, I didn't really have that community to lean on or to fall back on. And I didn't really have a mentor or someone, really just like anyone I could really ask questions to and even validate my ideas
mm,
externally.
lovely.
And I see that happening a lot in my circle with people who also work online, as working online has just become more and more popular. A lot of people are talking about that or experiencing that. And I think it's something that we should, try to understand how to manage and like move through as digital entrepreneurs, right? So, in my journey of first starting out in business, being alone, I
Mm,
had to go through that period of being alone to figure out that, wow, I actually need someone to talk to.
yeah.
So it wasn't really until
Mm,
um, it wasn't really until I started working with other people, like hiring freelancers or just really trying to get involved in communities online, that I realized, like, wow, this is a problem. And a lot of people are probably also feeling this way, like they don't know what to do or maybe where to find people like to communicate with and talk to and bounce their ideas off of. So that was sort of the precursor, or sort of laid the foundation for like my idea around building community and like just really highlighting why it's so important. Like, do you
mm.
resonate with that, or is that something you've experienced as well?
Yeah, definitely. I have to say that starting a digital business, I believe it starts with those confusions or maybe a lot of exploration, like where to start, how to start, what all things I need to follow. Uh, okay, I have done this, these things left. I have to also work on those part as well. So I guess this it's a kind of feeling that it's a messy part for me to start, but when you realize that uh, the good part of it, the the fruitful fruit, so then you feel like, okay, yes, I'm doing it, I'm really killing
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
Exactly.
right. Yeah, exactly. So so when I so I guess going back to the what I was saying previously though was when I first started working with other people, I started realizing it just clicked in my brain that I realized I was alone. I was feeling lonely. And it's also important to note, like your audience probably is interested in just mindset and wellness and living a healthy life. And that involves your mind, right? So I didn't even realize I was lonely until, I got on the other side of the loneliness and I could look back at it and say, oh, wow, this was not great. um, and to continue on that, now I have really tried to immerse myself in online communities. So if there's somebody out there that's listening that does feel alone in their solopreneurship journey, their freelancing, any type of online business, I encourage you to really make time and carve out a community of your for yourself online and also tap into other people's communities. There are so many Slack, like free Slack communities that you can join, or Discord communities, or even LinkedIn groups.
Mm,
They're out there and they're free and you can join them. I know school is kind of another big player in the online community space
mm,
right now. But there's a lot of resources out there for you to find. And I encourage you to at least just join something free at first so you can have that start to build that foundation of community and mentorship and camaraderie before you move on to maybe like a paid
mm.
group or something that's a little bit more involved. But that's a good stepping stone if you feel alone and you don't know even who to connect with or who to start. So
That's great.
yeah.
That's lovely. Yeah. You're saying something, yeah, please.
Oh, have you ever used the school platform?
Yeah, I have used it. I
Yeah.
have used it, and it's really nice. There is also a platform. I mean, I tried that, but somehow because of the time and other thing, it's a circle also. There's a platform, though it's costly, but but school is definitely. I mean, it's budget friendly. It has good options. It has I mean, you have to say, I mean, there are a lot of people who are doing their digital space, as you mentioned correctly. So, yeah, that's great. Yes.
Yeah. School is definitely coming up in terms of just popularity. But yeah, I think I'm part of one free community on school. I know it costs a bit to start it if you want to found a school community, but to join one, it's free if the community itself is free.
Right.
But yeah, Slack is another good place. And even joining conversations on Reddit is also a good option if you're feeling lonely and you just want to immerse yourself with other people who are maybe, let's say if you do email marketing, there are a few email marketing subreddits that you could join and create a new Reddit profile just for your business or for your professional self, and join conversations there as well. So I think Reddit is becoming really popular as well for in terms of marketing in general. Um,
Exactly. Even you can say like
yeah,
a Quora is also something where you will find out more discussions based on your I mean subject or maybe the topics which you love. So that is also something which I believe uh, it's a good one. I mean,
yeah, yeah. And if you do show up in these
mm,
in communities or just seek out a community or just some sort of like camaraderie and connection, you open yourself up to um, give and receive support with an open, active mind. So, and I think it's also important just to say while I'm thinking about it, you have to seek people out and you must seek people out and allow others to come to you if you want to give and receive like that support and that knowledge sharing as well and learn and grow because that's just a huge part of developing as a professional or even as just a person is having that openness to seek that out.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really important.
So from there, one thing is like you have built a personal brand while running a copywriting agency. So how important is that personal branding for a solopreneur or maybe a entrepreneur who has just started there? Yeah.
Yeah, good question.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's also becoming a very
Mm-hmm.
popular topic. But I think if anyone, well, I'll just say I'm a firm believer in a personal brand. So I'm a little bit biased. I think a personal brand is the way to go no matter who you are. Like, and you also have to consider we're building a personal brand whether we think about it or not. Even if you don't have a business yet, and or you're just still in the professional space, or you're thinking about starting a business, you already have a personal brand. It's how you dress, it's how you talk, it's how you think, it's how you present yourself, it's even the things you listen to or watch, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're already personal brand has become a very big umbrella term, but you're doing it whether you think about it or not. So if you can actively try to cultivate that for yourself, it's going to help you become much more intentional
Mm-hmm.
with the type of person you want to become or the type of image you want to create for yourself. So even if you're just getting started, like to answer your question, even if you're just getting started thinking about it, you should always just consider what your personal brand would be, right? And focus on it because we do it subconsciously,
Mm-hmm.
which is a whole different topic we could go into. But yeah, this how you're subconsciously creating that for yourself. But do you have any thoughts on personal branding or
Personal branding, definitely. I also feel like it is very, very important for anyone. I mean, even if he or she is a freelancer or just entrepreneur or solopreneur, it's very important because without personal brand, it's very difficult to get that momentum, if I have to say, for
yeah,
or uh, uh, I mean, uh, I mean, uh, so if you take an example, like for any big brands, who is the big brands right now? I'll not take the names here, but the big brands, they created their brand first. People know their products because of their brand. So for a solopreneur also, or maybe a uh, two or three members team entrepreneur as well, or a freelancer as well, why people should trust on their product? Because of their personal branding, because that product or maybe some that digital thing is connected with that person personally, and that person is sharing uh, what he or she been through with that and why it is much be helpful for people. So that is the reason, I mean, personal branding is much needed. Otherwise, products though, I mean, there will be products, a lot of products, yes.
yeah, I know what you're saying. Like without a personal brand, there's not much for someone to connect to. They have to have something to people have to feel a sense of connection. And that's definitely what a personal brand allows you to do is create a sense of connection. Um, and even big companies
Mhm.
who have not taken the personal brand approach in the past, they've just had a very like corporate feel and corporate brand.
Mhm.
Even now, I think if you pay attention to what's happening online with certain social media platforms, you'll see that they're putting more of their team members in the spotlight on social media to try to create that connection and put faces to the brand that they've built. Because yeah, we just as humans, we just really crave that connection to other humans too. I think that's a big part of why another why for making a personal brand is the connection, which goes back to the community as well. Point we were
Right.
talking about earlier, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Lovely. Yeah. And like on this, uh the digital space is constantly evolving. So how to stay ahead of the trends while remaining authentic in the content or the business? What do you say?
Yeah, good question.
Mm-hmm.
You have to, or it's a good idea rather to to pay attention to what's happening in terms of trends, because if it makes sense for your brand to jump on a trend and capitalize on the quick growth from a trend, and it makes sense, if it doesn't feel random out of place, then definitely take advantage of that and go for it, because that's just one small part of a social media marketing strategy, is capitalizing on trends as they're happening and in the right moment to gain the growth in the social media algorithms, right? But it only if it makes sense. There's a lot of brands that jump on trends to try to stay ahead, that it maybe just doesn't align with the company's values or their mission or the image that they're trying to create. So it can feel a little random, but I think really good marketers or really good social media management people, or anyone who has a good eye for trends and just the social space, can sort of, weed out the right trends to jump onto. You just have to take some intention and some digging around at other examples in terms of what people are posting about the trend. But that's a part of, staying ahead, is, taking advantage of that. But also, I think consumer listening and social listening can help you stay ahead. Um, Really paying attention to what's happening, what people are saying online. I think it's very easy for brands to maybe post something online that doesn't really match what's going on with, like, in the brand's, um, overarching, like, cultural society, things like that, right? So you have to be very, attentive to those types of things as well. And yeah, I think it's really just a part of social listening and being very attentive. And social media changes and the online space changes so much, like, right, like you said. So it's hard to really stick to one strategy for years and expect it to work for years, because it's going to change. Right? And if you want to get ahead, stay ahead, you have to be willing to change and adapt as well. So that's a big part of it. Yeah.
That's amazing. And
Yeah.
so, also, like, one more thing is, I mean, for aspiring solopreneurs who's listening today. So, what's the one piece of advice that could help them build a sustainable and fulfilling business?
That's a great question. And I feel like I could give a million pieces of advice on this, but action is so underrated. Just acting and taking any type of small action, imperfect action, because if you if you wait around on an idea to be perfect, or if you wait around on something to, you know, to feel right, sometimes you're going to miss an opportunity, or you're going to wait too long, and then the, momentum might die down, or you might convince yourself that you don't need to take that action, when in reality you could have just acted, taken the imperfect action, and then just seen what happened and the results of it. And as you're taking that action, you're going to learn from it. You're going to learn so much more from taking the action than if you didn't act, right? And that's true for anyone,
Mm.
really. Like, even if you feel like you're great at taking action, or even if you feel like you just get stuck in a perfectionist loop, like in a perfectionist mentality, and you don't act, I think that advice could be applied across the board. You just really have to do it and take the learnings from it to heart and analyze them as well, to see how you could act better in the future. Yeah.
That's, I have to say, that's a great, um I mean, I really love, I mean, on this, that creating a business which uh, actually you love is something, the most satisfied thing in life. I
Oh,
really love that, and I truly believe myself. I do that. So yeah, and thanks to you for sharing those experiences and from your perspective as well. So that's a great one. Thank you so much, Sarah. And uh,
thank you.
I mean, I have to say this conversation was really real and insightful. And
Okay, thank you.
yeah, and for the listeners, like solopreneurship is empowering, but uh, it's not that easy how we think. The key is like pace yourself, stay adaptable, and build something that aligns with you. So, if you have loved this episode, share it, subscribe to Healthy Mind and Healthy Life, and connect with Sarah for more insights. So, Sarah, if someone want to connect with you, want to have a discussion about their own solopreneurship journey, how they can connect with you.
Sure. I am on social media at Portal Copy Co. And then I have a website, portalcopyco.com. Personally, if you want to just look at my personal accounts, I'm Sarah E. Ashley on Instagram and most social medias as well.
That's lovely. Great. So I'll put all the links into the show notes, dear listeners, for your easy reference. And until next time, keep creating, keep evolving, and keep believing in your path. So with this, thank you so much.
Thank you.